All right, so here we go with the cosine rule. First of all, let me write down what the rule is, then we'll talk about it. It goes like this: a squared equals b squared plus c squared. So notice that, like, when you have a on one side, b and c are together on the other side, then minus 2bc. So the same two variables that are here also go with the 2. And then finally you have cosine of angle A. So then notice that angle A matches whatever side is over here. So remember, you have, the three sides are the little letters, and the lowercase, and the angles are the uppercase. So you could also change this formula around. For instance, if you wrote, don't write this down, but if you had b squared over here, then that would be a squared plus c squared minus 2ac, and then cosine of b. So that's one way you could write the formula, depending on which side and angle that you have or want. And then of course you could have c squared equals a squared plus b squared, right, minus 2ab cosine of c. So this is just another alternate way to write the formula, depending again on what you're given. All right, so let's go ahead and use it here. When we're using this, the situation I'm given right here is side angle side. So notice that I cannot use the sine rule. I mean, the first thing you go for is a sine rule because it's easier and less trouble to use. And but you can't use a sine rule here because notice I have an angle, but I don't know the side across from it. Okay, for sine rule, you need that. All right, so we're going to start off and we're going to find this. The only option right here is to find this side right there, and that actually is side BC. So I'm going to call it little a. So I need 11 squared plus 13 squared, doesn't matter the order, minus 2 times 11 times 13, cosine of angle 42. All right, so you're just going to make sure your calculator is in degrees. You're going to put this side in, get an answer, and then you're going to take the square root of it because you're going to get a squared equals something, and then you want to solve for a. So a is the square root of all that stuff right there. So it comes out to 8.8 centimeters. Okay, makes kind of sense there. All right, so then we're actually gonna solve this whole triangle. Let's just find one of the angles. So I'm gonna find angle B, I guess. So to find angle B, I would need to do b squared equals, I need a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine b. All right, so b squared across from b is 13. So this time I know that's 13. And then a and c, so I have 11 squared, and I just found 8.8 minus 2 times 11 times 8.8. And then cosine of b, I don't know b. So I'm going to solve this for b, for cosine of b. So I'm going to have this piece all by itself eventually. So I want you to imagine with me, so I'm going to leave that over here, cosine b equals. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have this 13 squared. I'm going to subtract 11 squared and subtract 8 squared. Then I'm going to have all this left on one side. So I'd have 13 squared minus 11 squared minus 8 squared, 8.8, sorry. All right, over. So what's happened here is I have moved these two to the other side. So now I have these things multiplied. So I want to divide by all of this part in front and leave cosine b. So negative 2, 11, and 8.8. All right, so we want to find angle B. So remember, we have to go to our calculator, and to get angle B, I have to do inverse cosine of this piece right here. So you would go to your calculator and do that, make sure you're in degrees, and so you come out to B equals, let's see, 81.3 degrees. So remember, what you're doing right there is you're typing in cosine negative 1 of the inverse cosine of basically all the stuff that is right here. That's going in your calculator or Desmos, I guess, and all of that is going right here. It's going to produce this angle of 81 degrees. All right, and so now that you found 81 degrees, it would be easy to find C by subtracting, do 180 minus 42 and minus 81.3. Okay, and so, well, I never did that, but that'd be easy to do. All right, so this triangle down here, you see I'm given 3 lengths. So 3 lengths, I'm not quite sure what it looks like, but it says, let's see, A, B, and C. So AB is 7, BC is 5, and CA is 8. Okay, and so just like 3 sticks, you're putting them together to make a triangle, and obviously we have to find an angle first. So to solve the triangle, I'm going to have to find any of these angles. So I'm just going to use, how about 7? I'll say 7 squared equals 5 squared plus 8 squared. And so you can see this is side, 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 minus 2 times 5 times 8, cosine of, and it's the side across from the 7 that I'm finding. So that would be angle C. Okay, so we're going to have 7 squared minus 5 squared minus 8 squared, all divided by negative 2 times 5 times 8 equals cosine C. So to find C, I would just do inverse cosine of that fraction. And so angle C, oh goodness, I don't have angle C. So let's just do it. 7 squared, 7, 5, and 8. All right. So where's my good old Desmos? So let's see, I need cosine negative 1, 7 squared, minus 5 squared minus 8 squared over negative 2 times 5 times 8. And I must be in radians. Yep. So there we go, 60 degrees. All right. So we just have to do this again to go ahead and find, how about angle B? So I need 8 squared equals 7 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 7 and 5, cosine of B. So much the same way as before, I'm going to get angle B to be 81.8. All right, and then of course you could add these up and subtract from 180. You would get that angle A is 38.2. Okay. All right, so the last thing you have to learn here is there are a couple formulas for the area of a triangle. And of course, if you have a right triangle, you know the area is 1/2 base times height for a right triangle. But and it's actually for any triangle that you know the height of, but in these triangles, they're oblique. We don't know the height right away, so we don't want to sit there and have to find it in some strange way. So we're just going to go ahead and use these other formulas, so A, B, and C. So this formula, let's look how it goes. So notice the letters A, B, C. So if I label the sides as well, so A is over here, B is there, little c is there. So basically what this does, you do 1/2 A times B sine of C. So C is right here, A and B are the sides around it. So this is a situation if you have side angle side, or if you can find side angle side, like if you have a triangle and you need to find one of the pieces to figure out and you do the area that way. So this situation is when you know a side, 2 sides, and the angle between them. So for instance, though, if you had something like if you knew angle B and you knew side A and C, so you could also write this formula as 1/2 AC sine B, right? And you can also write this formula 1/2, let's see, CB sine of A, right? So it just depends like what you have and the sides that you have. All right, so we're going to do that down here on the left. So I'm going to let you know, I was going to make a solve for one of the sides, but we're just going to forget that part. I'm going to tell you that this side is 6.5. Okay, so now I have these 2 sides. So I now know this side and this side. So if I want to use my formula that I just showed you up there, I need this angle. Well, I know 2 angles in the triangle, 50 and 30, so that means that the other one is 100 right here. Okay, so we're going to do the area is 1/2. We got to put 6.5, got to put 10, and the sine of 100. So you pop that into your calculator, and you get 32, and you'd say units squared, because it's the area. All right, the last thing If you have a situation where you know all three sides of a triangle, there's something called Huron's formula. And Huron's formula goes like this. You have this, this amount S multiplied by S minus the side A, and S minus the side B, and S minus the side C. Well, S over here is defined as adding up all three sides and dividing by 2. So half of all three sides, half the sum of all three sides. So it's not really an average, but it kind of seems like it, but it's not. All right, so over here, let's do that here. So I got to add 44, 28, and 50. So that adds up to 122. So my S here would be 1/2 of 122. So that would be 61. So my area is going to be the square root of 61 times 61 minus 50 times 61 minus 28 times 61 minus 44. So that would be the square root of 61 times, what is this, 11? Times 61 minus 28, that's 33, and 61 minus 44, 17. So pop that in your calculator and you get 613.5. This is in feet, so we'll say feet squared. And that is it. All right, adios.